All right, guys, welcome to our team call for tonight. It is April 1st. Happy April Fool's Day. I got nothing for you. But we have a special guest speaker tonight. Her name is Steph Zaycer. I think I said that right. She gave me like the hyphenation on how to say it. So Steph Zaycer, she is an Emerald coach. She has a master's in clinical nutrition and integrative health. She lives in the Baltimore area. She has a dog walking business or walks dogs. And I wanted her to kind of speak to us tonight because she obviously has this amazing degree. Like many of us, we have like different like health, we're all sort of kind of like different health degrees or different like masters and things like that. And sometimes people look at us like we have a couple heads saying, why get into this business? But especially since hers was nutrition and health, I really wanted her to touch on and share with you guys how she sort of overcame the hurdle of getting to where she is and seeing the actual opportunity with this, and that, what we all see, that it is real and a good way of, and the right way of living. So she's going to share with us tonight some of that and some other goodies as well. So I am going to just let her take it away. And if you have questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. I'm going to mute.
Okay, thank you so much. It's a pleasure. Some of the things you said kind of is going to take me right into my story anyway. So I'm just going to start off with that because more of this will make sense. So it's funny you said that people look at you like we have like multiple heads if we have a health background. Getting my master's, it's been hard with my family understanding why I'm doing this. And I know eventually one day they're like, why aren't you doing anything with your master's? I'm like, I am. I'm educating. That's how I feel like I'm using my master's degree. But they don't see it that way. They think I should be in like a clinical setting, doing paperwork and stuff. That's the last thing I want to be doing. So honestly, starting out, I went in my undergrad for exercise science and took a nutrition class and was like, oh my God, this is so cool. It went to like the cellular level of everything and was like, the body is just incredible. So I was like, I need to know more. So I went looking for master's programs. The only local ones were like John Hopkins, and it was a dietetic program, and I didn't really want to go into that side of things. And then the school I went to, which is Maryland University of Integrative Health, or Thai Sophia. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of that, or any of you are even from the Maryland area, really. So I went into that, and it had a like hands-on cooking class, which I thought that was like my favorite part of it. And so I went through all of that, finished my master's, learned a bunch. It was great and all. But then there is a certification test at the end, and you have to have a certain amount of hours. So you have to have the certification test passed and then reach your clinical hours, which is like 1,200 or something like that, clinical hours that you have to practice, like pretty much seeing people for free is pretty much what you have to do for quite a while. So I failed my certification test once and was like, okay, all right, I'll keep pushing. I'll keep looking for jobs in the meantime. And then I studied. I studied my freaking butt off, maybe twice as long as I did the first time, and failed again. Worse the second time than the first time. And I promise that is not telling you about my smarts, because that test is insane. So even like every single person in my class failed. I think 90% of them failed the first time, and then majority failed the second time again, and then the people that took it the third time finally passed. I did not take it the third time. I reached out to my coach. I actually started following a couple Beachbody coaches and was like, ooh, what's this? Like, they're using like the health side of things and the nutrition side of things, but some of them have a degree, some of them don't, but they seem to still be like educating. It still seems to be like all natural and using your whole body and, combating stress and all that stuff. Like the stuff I loved about the integrative health side that I got my master's in. So I started looking into all that, and then picked a coach, reached out to my coach and said, I'm taking my test again. If I fail, I'm going all in on this. Like, that's it. That's going to be my sign. I'm going all in. So I did fail, obviously, the second time, and I went all in. And in that process of like failing the first time and the second time, I was reaching out to a couple different coaches, like, so do I have to sell Shakeology? Like, do I have to drink Shakeology? And they're like, yeah, proof of the product. And I'm like, what if I don't want to be proof of the product? Like, I was always skeptical of it, but why was I skeptical of it? I had no knowledge on it. It's all just what I was hearing about it. And that is not fair. And that is what people do to us all the time. So it's nice coming from like my own perspective. I did that. So when people do that to me, I'm like, stop, because I did that. It's not fair to be like, oh yeah, uh, Shakeology, I've heard all these things about it. It's like the overpriced and not good for you at all. I'm like, pfft. And who'd you hear that from? Like a coach that did the business for like a day and hated it or something, like didn't even really give it a go. So that was like my huge objection. And then I did this like pro and con list, and literally I had one con, and that it was a multi-level marketing, and that's not even a con. Like all like the CEO, and then managers under the CEO, and then salespeople under the managers. What's that? Oh, multi-level marketing. Like it all is multi-level marketing. So that wasn't even really a con. So I pretty much combated my own objections. I mean, I reached out to a few coaches, but I was just like, I did some research on Shakeology. There was a ton, like obviously you guys know, there's all these superfoods in it, a bunch that I learned about in school too. I'm like, oh my God, there's ashwagandha in here. Oh my God, like was loving everything about it. I was like, okay, like I'll try it. And now I drink it every single freaking day. I love it. It helps keep me regular because I do have some digestive issues. And I had very bad stress coming out of school and everything. And that has helped a lot because of all the like adaptogens and stuff that help with cortisol levels. So that's kind of a quick, not quick overrun of my story. I am going to share my screen with you guys because I have a quick presentation, just kind of going over some nutritional basics that I want. You guys might already know, but if you don't, they're really good to know and they're really good to share with other people. Um, and then going over some of the objections that I kind of reached out to my team and asked them common ones that they got, and went over that and kind of did common ways we can get over those objections. So like I said, the basics and how I overcame my own objections. So like I said, a lot of you guys already know this basic info, but first I want to go over just how to read a nutrition label. I know that sounds so basic, but there are a lot of things on here that people just kind of like either don't even look at. Like I know a lot of my clients don't even look at them. And I'm like, wait, well, what does the sodium level say? And she's been reaching out to me, telling me what the sodium level says and things that she eats. And I'm like, okay, that's getting high up there. But I'm just going to go briefly into each of these. So obviously number one on the right, I think is the most important, is your ingredients list. Excuse me. So ingredients list everything from top to bottom. So to top, first few things are the most abundant in whatever you're reading. So you want those first few things to be real whole foods, not sugar and salt and weird words that we don't know how to pronounce. Then number two is your sugars. Number three is going to be your sodium. And then number four is the types of fats. So fat is not bad. I know we all say that, oh, fat. Fat is not bad. Trans fat is bad, but that I will go into. So like I said, ingredients list goes from what's the most abundant in it to the least abundant. That's why you usually see like xanthan gum and stuff like that at the very bottom. Yes, it's the least like amount in it, but things like that, if they're still in it, like words you can't pronounce are still in it, like if you've ever read a Red Bull nutrition label, oh boy, I don't know how to say any of those words. So things like that, like you just want them to be real whole foods, like, and if it says organic next to it, stuff like that, that's even better. For the sugar, just to keep it very basic, I wanted to kind of go over processed sugar and when you eat fruit, because I've been hearing this so much lately. So when you eat fruit, that sugar is processed slowly and controlled in your body, and then it's typically accompanied with fiber. So like usually the skin of fruit, or like that fibrous, so like an orange, those little white like fibers, that is the fiber. Um, and then an apple, like all of the skin contains the fiber. So that helps with you feeling full. So you're not eating as much of the sugar. And then it also has vitamin and minerals to accompany with it. Then when you eat processed sugar, that, and yes, they're both sugar, but it processes super fast and rapidly and causes insulin spikes and blood sugar level spikes. And it has no benefits for your body. So no vitamins or minerals, anything associated with it, no fiber. So nothing to really even help you. And then you can just like consume, consume, consume. Um, a lot like diet soda, which is a whole nother story, because so many people are like, oh, it has 0 calories, so I can drink as much of it as I want. But that kind of like fake sugar or like the sweeteners can trick your brain into wanting more of it. That's a whole thing. But don't get me wrong, don't go eating pounds of fruit, because everything in moderation. I'm a huge believer in that, and a huge believer in just balance. Like balance is absolutely key. So for sodium, we've been told for so long that salt is bad for us, but a lot of it's electrolyte. It's not awful for us. Our bodies do need it for um, fluid balance and everything. So they say to stay around, like, I think the RDA or something is like 2300 or something, but they say like optimal is staying around 1500 milligrams. And I really, 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 if you guys have time, fun little assignment, like I say here, track your sodium intake for the day and see how close you are to 1500 milligrams. Like, I feel like I don't even want to do this. I will do it with you guys, I promise. If we all want to like pick a day and do it together, to kind of like keep us accountable and keep us tracking it. But it's kind of just a good way to see how much you're really intaking, because there is sodium hidden in a ton of stuff. This was kind of like, here's a squirrely moment for me. This is kind of like the yellow containers for carbs. I got those containers and was like, I'm eating perfect portions. What? But I got them with my challenge pack and I was like, okay, I have them. I might as well try them. I put my carbs in the yellow container and was like, oh my God, I'm eating like triple the amount of carbs I should be. So I'm also a huge believer in those containers. I'm just like, I trick myself into everything. And then types of fats. The main type of fat to look at, like I said, is trans fats. So there's been research on saturated fat being bad, but then some people say it's like not that bad. So I wouldn't like bother too hard about that. But then polyunsaturated and unsaturated are healthy fats found in like the fish and stuff. So trans fats actually increase our bad cholesterol, or the LDL, and can cause inflammation in our body. And they also can increase our risk for stroke, heart disease, type 2 diabetes, a bunch of not fun stuff that we do not want. So that's kind of just a basic overview of the nutrition label. I know some of you guys might be like, I already know all of this stuff, but hopefully if you guys can take like one thing away from this, then I know I did my job. So some common objections on Shakeology that I got from my group. The number one, and I know you guys probably all get this too, is it costs too much, or I don't have the money for it. In a way that kind of ties in with the value or what's so special about it. And then it's just another protein shake. What's so special about it? What's different about it? What if I don't like it? I don't know what to do with it, and I don't have time to meal prep, which is my favorite. So yes, this is a lot. I meant to write these notes down separately, but read it as you go or listen to me, whatever you want to do. But for the cost, I have 3 options for this. So option 1, break it down so it's not lump sum. So a lump sum, as we know with challenge packs too, like saying, I mean, I don't think 180 for a whole year is bad at all. Like people pay 300. I'm a personal trainer as well, and people pay $360 for sometimes 2 weeks, if not like a month, for personal training with me one-on-one. for 45 minutes, but they won't pay 180 for a whole entire year with all the stuff they get. Blows my mind. But so break it down so it's not a lump sum. So with our coach discount, it comes out to $3 a day. First off, if I was going to a smoothie like place like Smoothie King or something, pretty sure those are like $5 or $6 a day. And I used to get those all the time at my old job. Um, but ask them like, what are you spending $3 a day on now that might not be the healthiest for you, and you can replace this with. So like I was saying to one of my coaches, I was like, yeah, we all know you're getting that Starbucks coffee for like $4 or $5 a day. And we all know it's probably not the best for you. Like you would easily cut that out and do a smoothie instead. Um, or if it's easier for people to see it weekly broken down, it's around $20. So that could be like choosing not to eat out for a work lunch. So if everyone's like, come out to lunch with us, you're like, no, I'm going to skip today. One day, $20. There you go. Saved for your smoothie. Or going out for like a happy hour or something. Option two, attack it from the other angle and show the value in the ingredients that are in our Shakeology. So for example, if you go to the grocery store and try and buy each item separately and then put them all into a shake, like into a powder, into a shake, I think like 7 of the superfoods is already way over each superfood. I looked up on like grocery stores and different sites and stuff is around like $15 to $20 for like a bag. So like 7 of them is already way over what we pay for a ton more stuff. It has a complete amino acid profile, stress relieving superfoods, helps lower our cortisol levels, like I was saying earlier, and the superfoods that help lower our cortisol levels, then exercising that helps lower our cortisol levels. Like I say here, you literally can't put a price on that. Like that helps with stress and anxiety to the max. Then option 3, this is like option 1's my favorite, 2's cool, 3 is my absolute favorite. Like so good, so good. I heard it recently and I was like, oh my God, like that hits home. That hits home so hard for me. Would you rather spend hundreds of dollars on medications you need monthly, either now or even down the road when your health starts to deteriorate because you're not doing anything right now for it? Um, and regardless of long-term medicine, you'll always like pills are always going to lead like have side effects that lead to more needing more pills. But it's just like, oh, I'm taking one to lower my blood pressure, but that causes my heart rate to go up, so I need to take one to lower my heart rate. It's just like I see way too many older adults on this, and it saddens me deeply because if they would have just all they have to do is change their lifestyle, and I've heard people that change their lifestyle, start working out regularly and eating healthy whole foods, that is it, and they can go off all of their medications. Now obviously there are specific cases that is not true, but majority of the time, like when it's just having to do with the unhealthy diet and unhealthy routine and lifestyle, that's all that you need to do, and then you save. Medications are insanely expensive, so I don't see why you wouldn't want to just invest in yourself now and not have to pay for all those medications down the road, because you will eventually need them. Ask your parents, because I know my mom's on a bunch of stuff. Her back like has serious issues, so she's on like all muscle like relaxers and stuff. And yes, she was healthy and worked out. That's a whole nother story. But obviously didn't eat the healthiest, so that has led to some issues obviously with her back and muscles and stuff. Um, so important to just do your research and educate. We have to educate these people because obviously, like me in the beginning, not educated. They're just coming up with the excuse and the objection right away just because of like what someone told them one time or what they saw on TV or what they saw like in a video that years ago or something. Um, People often like to compare Shakeology to a protein powder. It's not a protein powder, hence why we all lean towards calling it a superfoods powder, superfoods blend. But each Shakeology bag is about 42 ounces. So I looked up one of the more popular vegan protein powders. I think it was Vega One Sport Blend, because usually the sport blends have an amino acid profile in it. It was $45 for 18 ounces. So that's about Shakeology has about 2.5 times the amount of that in each bag. So then we 2.5 times that $45, $112.50 right there. Like, and we spend 99 with our coach. So boom. It has not even close to half the amount of superfoods. And the Shakeology has a much larger amino acid profile. So this top one is Shakeology, and this is the Vega 1, I believe it is. So if you want to look at that, I just think it's so funny to compare these because people always say it's a protein powder. Like, no. I mean, 16 grams of protein is awesome, but it's not a protein powder. There's so much more to it. So what if I don't like it and I don't know what to do with it? So if they throw the what if I don't like it, I've honestly never gotten this objection, but a lot of my girls were coming up with saying they've gotten this. I honestly believe it's okay to send them a sample. Like, take your time with them, send them a sample because this could be, it's worth the time and money to send them the sample because then it could literally change their lives. And they're so freaking grateful that you like took the time out to help them and make sure that they actually really like it instead of just like sell, 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 sell. Like, that's not actually changing someone's life. We're actually wanting to change someone's life. Um, so honestly, if I did get that objection, I would ask, do you want me to send you a couple free samples and I can send you some recipes to try out with them, see if you like it, and go from there. I don't know what to do with it objection. So again, we need to educate the best we can without word vomiting, probably like I am right now, or throwing too much information at them at once. Assure them that you can help them with this. Much like having to make time for our workouts daily, we have to make time for our nutrition too. So like meal prepping and making our shakes, stuff like that. So I wanted to put in a couple little tips for prepping smoothies ahead of time that you can give these to people that might give you this objection. So one, you can pre-make your smoothies into Ziploc bags for the week and freeze them. So I use frozen fruit. So you can literally put like, measure everything out, put it in a bag. They say you can put the dry ingredients in too, but I literally only use sometimes collagen and then my Shakeology as my dry ingredient. So prep your bags for the week, pop the bag out, put it in a blender, put the dry, wet, blend, go. Like, it's better than having right now, since I have all the time in the world, but you have to take out like each bag of the frozen fruit and each like item separately, and then you have to put it all away. Yeah, that sounds like it's not tedious at all, but it does end up taking a little bit of time. So that's one way to help them out. Or you can pre-make your smoothie the night before in the smoothie cup, so you can like put it all the frozen stuff in the smoothie and like put the lid on, put it in the fridge, and then pull it out, put your wet, dry. So it's all like already in the cup. That's like one way to make it a little bit faster. Or if you want to just blend it the night before, blend it the night before, put it in the fridge, grab it and go. Boom. Don't give me that you don't have time to meal prep, because when one girl said that, I was like, that's so funny because you don't have time to meal prep, but you have time to make a meal or dinner every single night for your family. Like, I'd rather take 2 hours to meal prep everything, or like even for yourself, family, self, kids, whatever you have. It takes, I used to do that. I used to make dinner for myself every single night. And I was like, the last thing I want to do when I get home is make dinner. Like, it's not what I want to do. So I meal prep 3 days in advance because, again, I'm like not too busy. So I meal prep Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then Wednesday or Thursday go shopping for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, like Sunday. And it works out. But I'd rather spend an hour and a half to 2 hours meal prepping right then and there and have everything set up and know what I'm going to eat than making a dinner and guessing every single night, because that would waste so much more time. And I think yep, that's it. So stop sharing. Any questions or anything? Let me read.
I have a question. So I try to like, well, not try, but like for some reason, like when I hashtag like certain nutrition things and stuff like that, it brings like nutritionists and like people like that to my page. So then I like, I think, wow, these people would be great at like having our resources and using them. So I think probably everyone like that I've ever invited to the coaching opportunity or to like learn more about it has always told me like, oh, it's Beachbody. No, I promote like eating all your food and whole foods and their values don't align with mine. And so I've never really like understood that, but is there anything that would make sense to that? Like what, or is it they just don't care to align themselves? I don't get it.
I get the same thing, and I have masters in my freaking like
Right.
bio. Because I follow a ton of like I used to follow a ton of nutritionists and stuff, and they used to throw me a ton of shade too. I'm like, okay, hold up, I'm in your world too. Just because I'm a beach, it's going right back to what I did to myself in the beginning. It's like that one thing they heard from that one person is like their complete notion of it, and they're not willing to like open their mind to anything. So maybe we need to be approaching them in a different way, just saying like, I don't know, I'd have to think about that one, just because when I reach out to them I kind of just say like thanks for the follow, and kind of let them watch me a little bit, just to
Hmm.
see, like, to show that they can trust me and that it's not just like a scam, or and it's not like, what, we are eating whole foods, what do you think we're eating? Like, they have these such weird beliefs of Beachbody, and it's freaking sad, and it's hard to overcome sometimes because it's just been put into these people's heads from other people. And I guess it's just, we just gotta kind of punch through that wall best we can. Just keep showing your knowledge and keep educating and keep researching, and they'll slowly trust you. Like, try and not, because like me, if I had like in the beginning, if I had a Beachbody coach like coming at me hard, I'd probably be like standoffy too, just because of my preconceived notions that weren't even backed by anything that I
That's
see
probably my
now.
issue. I
But
probably come hard.
like, those are the only people I don't go hard at. Like, everyone else, I'm like, do it now. Like, you need it. But those people, I'm like, okay, thanks for the follow. Like, just keep watching.
Right.
And I let them kind of just like slowly and watch me as I like educate, and they can see and learn in their own way, I guess. Because I'm still educating people. Like I said, my dad still is very struggles with me doing this, because he's like, what are you doing with your masters? I'm like, this is what I'm doing with my masters. But I think the more I show them like my stories and stuff, and like my posts, and I'm still doing nutrition education, I'm just not making meal plans for everyone, which I freaking hated anyway. Like, my meal plans are made for me. That's perfectly fine. Like, the nutrition programs that come out with Autumn and everything, I freaking love that. I'm blabbing again. It's literally just about educating and like just showing trust.
Do you have any like opinions on 2B versus the ultimate portion fix, like with your knowledge and background? I mean, obviously I think both are
um,
great for different types of people, but just with your background, I'm always curious.
so I think they both have their own benefits. So, to be, I haven't done it myself, but I did a little research on it when I first started, because I absolutely love that, because I even took a mindful eating class in my master's. And I think it's so important because so many people have emotional eating problems now, and before, but now we know how to help them, um, and how to just kind of like educate ourselves and educate others on that. And I think Tubi really goes into that and really aligned with like everything I learned in that class too. So I think that kind of goes into the whole mental side of it, and like feeling good about what you're eating and putting into your body and being okay with everything. And I feel like that's kind of a foundational piece. Then going into the portion fix and everything is kind of like the next step, I would think, because it does also go into like emotional eating a little bit, but I feel like it's kind of applying the mental side of it. Like, okay, I'm mentally all okay with this, I am like strong mentally, now I can start applying it and being okay with the portions I'm using and all of that stuff, and maybe having a cheat meal here or there. So I feel like they both have their pluses.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like starting somewhere with like 2B and like kind of just educating on the mental side of it all, and then going into like applying it with the portion fix. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it's interesting you say that because I've done both, and I find myself like when I was in Transform 20, like I said, I was going to go with the containers because you could pick either way. And I did the containers and have been ever since, like diligently, but I've been using all the to be like info she gives, the mental info she gives, like in alignment with the containers, which has been like super helpful for me. Like I need that piece too.
Exactly. It's the foundations. It really is.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Meg, I was just going to piggyback off something real quick
Oh
that you
yeah,
were
go ahead.
talking about. And I feel like Steph probably felt the same way because she mentioned personal training. I know Jen felt the same way, but with the nutrition haters, I was like a home workout hater as a physical therapist. And I think it's very similar, like with your nutritionist and having that stigma and that ego. Honestly, I think it's an ego around it because you do have this fancy degree
Oh
and you
yeah.
feel like you know better. So what helped break the wall for me, like Steph was saying, is just seeing like results after results after results, because you can't fight the results. Like those are what they are. Like you can come at people verbally, but like she said, if someone did that, I'd be like, like, don't even try, chick. I already know all of this. And then my guard would have instantly, when my ego would have been like,
Exactly.
done. But if you show me a before and after again and again and again and again, I can't fight that. And that's what eventually won me over on the home workouts.
That's true. You're
So
right.
it's like even more important that we have to get our own results and be proof that it works.
Yes, I've had so many objections from like personal trainers and stuff, and they're just like, "Oh, I've tried out home workouts," or like, "No, that doesn't work for me." I'm like, first off, I took these to the gym. When I first started, I started with Live 4, and I would literally watch the video, write it down on a notepad, and take it to the gym with me because, I was conscious and didn't want to be the girl that put a video up in the gym like wasn't following. But I was still following the plan to a T, and I freaking loved it. And that way I didn't have to buy a bunch of dumbbells, but I still took it to the gym because I was like a gym rat at the time because I worked in gyms all the time as a personal trainer. But that is seriously, like, my boyfriend said the same thing. He's like, you literally can't fight results. Because when I put my 6-week Transform 20 pictures up, I got like a flood of people. They were like, oh my God, I need to do what you're doing. Like, what are you doing? And I'm like, literally a step program for 20 minutes a day. They're like, shut up. And I'm like, swear to God. And it's all at home. And I have to walk 2 feet and I don't have to go out in the rain anymore or go see a bunch of people and look like cute for everybody. No, I put on a pair of shorts, go downstairs and do my workout and I'm done. Like,
Yeah, I was listening to last week's wake up call. Since we were on the boat last week, I didn't listen to it, but Ashley Lachlan sort of said the same thing you guys are saying. She was saying that um, literally your business like lives and breathes off of you getting results. And that's what, I mean, if you want to show people things work, like you can show them food pics all day, you can show them you blend in your shake and being consistent with it every day. But if you don't have results to compare A to B or this or that, or, then it really doesn't give you much like clout. So she was just saying she takes each program as like her next like project at her work. Like if your boss handed you a new project, like that's the project you work on. That's what you're going to do and complete and hand it in.
yeah, I love that. I love looking at it
Um,
that way.
all right, I have one more question for you, and then I'll let you go and the girls.
Okay, hopefully it's an answer.
So um, I know a bunch of us always run into people who like want to join our boot camps or join our challenge groups, whatever we call them. And they're like, oh, but I do keto, or, oh, I follow Whole30. Um, do you have any like, I know, do you have any like sort of tips or advice or anything that you can kind of like give on that sort of thing?
Okay, keto. Keto. I'm not a friend of keto. I've tried it. It's not sustainable. Great if you're on it and you're doing it, but literally it's been like shown that it's not healthy to do for a long period of time. You're just putting in so many fats. I was eating like, so first off too, I'm dairy, like lactose intolerant a little bit, and you're supposed to be drinking like whole milk and stuff. My stomach was not happy. But people,
Oh, frozen. Uh-oh. She's the only one frozen.
We lost her.
Oh no.
oh
Oh,
no.
Oh,
Are we good? Okay, only Carrie is moving. Why is only one person?
I hear you. I hear you. You're good. I think.
Okay. I'm rolling towards the door. So
oh.
is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, my Wi-Fi is awful here. So people that say they're on keto or like a certain diet, I would say first off, just ask them questions. But this is also like my boyfriend's in sales, so he helps me with all of this stuff too. But questions. So ask first off why they're on keto. Like be like, oh, cool. Like I've heard of that. Why'd you start it? Or are you liking it? Is it working? Stuff like that. Kind of get them to open up about it, because majority of the time people are not strict enough with it and it is not working, because you have to be extremely strict to get your body into ketosis and stay in ketosis and actually start burning your fat for fuel. Second off, there's been so many like the keto flu and stuff, because burning fat for energy, there's a reason why we burn carbs for energy, because they provide the most energy. We're not supposed to be burning fat for energy. It's like burning protein for energy. It doesn't give us any energy. So kind of just ask them a bunch of questions, like why they're doing it, and like if it's working, if they're liking it and everything. If they're truthful and they say like, yeah, I'm loving it, it's working, I've been on it for like 2 or 3 months or something, then okay, that's on them. It's what they like to do, it's what they want to do. Get them set up with an exercise program, at least if that's what they want to start with. And then maybe down the road when they stop doing keto, maybe shoot them, like one of my friends, for people that sign up for just Beachbody and don't do like Shakeology or anything, she sends them a couple samples of Shakeology or pre and post, and then gives them recipes to try with it. So like, hey, thanks so much for signing up for Beachbody on Demand. Like, just wanted to shoot you some of these samples to try out whenever you're ready, and then give them some recipes to try with it. I think that is so smart, because then down the road or whenever they're ready, they'll try it. And if they fall in love with it and find a flavor they really like, boom, they're buying it.
That's a good idea.
And starting on it. So yeah, I've started doing that, and it's definitely helped. But I hope that answers your question. Pretty much just ask
Yeah, I
them a
mean,
lot
I
of
didn't.
questions. Like,
No, that was actually really good. Like those 3 points you gave about like asking, like when somebody says it, because I've had a girl like right now who's doing 21 Day Fix with us, and she's like, I am on keto. It's the only thing that's helping me with my PCOS, but there's like no, but it's like there's no way to break through. So those 3 questions are good things to like ask when you come across
yeah,
it.
kind of get them to, dig deeper a little bit.
Yeah. I don't want us to be like the expert and be like, well, this is why you shouldn't do keto. That makes better sense, like
Right.
pulling answers out of them.
Right. Get them to say why they shouldn't be doing
Right.
keto.
Jamie, so can you have Shakeology while doing keto? From what I've heard, they
No.
say you can't.
Too
They
many
say it's too
carbs.
high in
Doesn't
carbs,
that tell
right?
you why you shouldn't do keto? Like, how many carbs are in Shakeology? Like 16 max or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Max. And that's, you're not allowed to have that in your like day. You have like 20 for the day or something like that.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Awesome. Well, this was helpful. Thank you. And I feel like it gave us a bunch of like knowledge we can actually share with our challengers as well. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And wait, let's take a picture. I'll stop recording and then we'll take a picture.